What is up, Eastern Oregon? This is Dodgy with EOAlive Sports, and today I'm joined by EOU Men's Wrestling's Kyle Knudtson. Kyle, how are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Oh gosh, this is I think this is the third time you've been on my show.
Yeah.
Sounds about right. We're going to talk about wrestling. I mean, this year another All-American at Nationals. You finished in 8th. Is that a disappointment?
No. I mean, a lot of people might think so because a couple years ago I took 4th, but at the same time, last year was a disappointment because I didn't place.
Yeah.
I lost my first 2 matches and I was done. So, in my opinion, I think that 8th is a stepping stone in the right direction. You know, I'm moving forward, making progress, and I'm getting better. So, I think it's a good thing. While it's not my goal, I still was an All-American. You know, I still made the podium, and so those are all things to build on for next year. And so I think I'm on the right path.
So was this your 4th year of wrestling though?
Yes, it was.
So you're going to be a 5-year dude.
Yep.
Come back. Will you be graduated when you come back?
So no, I will actually finish my undergrad next year.
Oh, so you're on the 5-year plan all the way across.
Yep. It planned out well for me. I was able to get a second degree and a second bachelor's degree and work towards that. So I'll be finishing that up next year.
Oh, nice. That works out good. Let's talk about this last weekend real fast. What you lost in what? The second round was your first loss, so you won your first round match. Lost in the second round. Had you wrestled that guy before?
No.
First time ever?
First time ever.
Wow, that's not too common, right?
That's true.
Most of these guys you've been wrestling for 4 years, unless they're freshmen or they've transferred in. Most of these guys you've wrestled. Walk me through that match. What happened?
Well, I got a little sloppy. I went out there and I didn't follow my game plan. I just got out of position too many times. I let him capitalize on too many mistakes that I was making. I mean, shoot, I got thrown to my back like 3 times in that match.
Did you?
Yeah, and I still only lost 19-15.
That's crazy.
So
I remember that. Okay, so that's another thing. 19-15. We're gonna see more scores like that, obviously, because of the change in scoring. Right. Takedowns are 3 points instead of 2. But 19-15, you guys scored a lot of points.
It was crazy because he threw me to my back and I was down big. Well, then I started getting takedowns and I was starting to build a comeback, and then I got thrown to my back again, and then I'm down big, and then I gotta do something. And you know, I didn't quite finish the job. I lost that match, and then it was time to battle on the backside.
So then, 2 losses and you're out at Nationals.
Right.
So now you're sitting with 1 loss. How many matches did you have to win to get to the 8th place?
I think I won
3?
2 more matches after
2 more?
that. No, it was 3.
Yeah.
It was 3.
So then you got to win. You got to win, and then that puts you in.
And then I'm an All-American.
Yeah.
And then if I win that next match, I go to the Conci semis where I can win that and go for 3rd and 4th, or lose, go for 5th, 6th. But unfortunately, I lost and went for 7th and 8th.
Dang, that's crazy. So another question: at Nationals, they don't do a true 2nd place, do they?
No.
So it's just true 3rd, and then you wrestle back through the blood rounds and get to 8th through 3rd there in the consolations.
Yep.
Wow, that's tough too. That's a lot of matches in a short amount of time. I mean, you're looking at 2 days. You're wrestling. In your case, to get 8th place, you wrestled 6 matches. Yeah, in 2 days. That's a lot. That's tough, especially when you're talking about matches where you're scoring 19 and 15.
Right.
What about the future? What's the future hold for you?
Well, I got 1 more year competing. So I'm really looking forward to being able to come back next year and wrestle under Azure. But after that, I'll graduate next spring with a bachelor's degree in health and human performance and psychology. Nice. And then I'm gonna try and enroll in the MAT program at Eastern to become a teacher. And I'll be a grad assistant, or however that works out with Azure, hopefully. Hopefully I can get that spot. And then I'll go through that, help coach,
Student
and then
teach,
do all that, and then I'll probably work out with Marco a little bit international style stuff, and hopefully go wrestle in some of those big tournaments too. But I think the biggest thing for me is planning on potentially moving back home to start coaching and teaching over there.
So you're talking about an area in Crook County where it's going to be competitive to find a job coaching wrestling, right? There's a lot of guys that want to go back there and coach.
Yes and no. I think there's a couple of kids from here that want to go back and coach.
Yeah.
But I think we could all be on the coaching staff for sure. I'm not necessarily looking for that head coaching job.
Yeah.
If I look for a head coaching job, it's probably going to be baseball. And I'll definitely be helping out with wrestling for sure. That's always going to be a big part of my life. So,
yeah.
But there's a few kids that are probably going to want to have it a little bit worse than I do, so I'll let them have it. I just want to help out. So, honestly, I'm not really looking for a head coaching job. I just want to help.
And you want to be at home.
Right.
Back home.
I got a 7-month-old niece, and she is the most adorable thing on this planet, and I want to be able to be there for her growing up.
Hang out. What if you had to choose one or the other? What are you choosing, coaching-wise? Baseball or wrestling?
I mean, to be honest, if I had to choose, it'd probably be wrestling, mainly due to the fact that that's what I do in college. Like it's so much of my identity right now is wrestling.
Yeah.
But I love baseball.
Yeah.
So if I could coach that too, I wouldn't be opposed.
Right. If so, I got a question for you. If you had to pick a character from a movie or a book that you most relate to, who would it be?
Oh, character from a movie or a book that I most relate to.
Yeah.
Oh man. Whew, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I think. So I'm a big Greek mythology nerd.
Okay.
So I think if I had to choose one, I'd probably say Percy Jackson.
Okay.
It's a story about a group of kids who one half of their family is the Olympian side of things, so like Zeus, Poseidon, and then the other half of their family is human, so they're demigods.
Yep.
And I think that he represents me well, because when I was younger, I was a little bit misunderstood. I was a little bit different, and obviously, if one of your parent is a god, so to speak, you're going to be a little bit different.
Yeah, you think?
But he finds himself through the help of his friends, and I think that resonates well with me.
Oh, nice. I like that. What's one item that you can't live without?
An item that I can't live without. Man, you're stumping me. Okay. Yeah. An item that I can't live without would probably have to be, my necklace right here. Just because God means so much to me, and He has such an impact on my life. And, if it weren't for Him, I wouldn't be able to be here right now talking to you. So.
And that necklace is just a reminder of that? Mm-hmm. Nice. All right. So say you could build the perfect sandwich, starting with the bread. What's the Kyle Knudtson perfect sandwich?
Okay. Well, we're going to go with the Italian herbs and cheese bread from Subway.
Okay.
Okay. Fantastic bread. Okay. You get a little bit of mayo on there. You get a little bit of Black Forest ham. Then you go some lettuce, some tomatoes, some cucumbers, some olives. And then you add a little bit of banana peppers. If you're feeling it, maybe a little bit extra spice, throw some jalapenos on there.
That'll be all right.
And then, honestly, that's probably about it.
No oil and vinegar?
Nope.
No salt and pepper?
Don't need it.
You're just having it right straight up. Black Forest ham, no cheese.
Oh, pepper jack cheese. My bad.
Jack
I forgot
cheese?
that.
Okay, yeah. Good. What about this men's wrestling team this year? We finished 12th, which isn't that the same as last year?
No, I think last year we took 13th.
Okay, 13th, close. Was there anything different about this year's team compared to last year's team? I mean, like attitude in the room, anything that stands out to you?
100%. I mean, we had a lot more kids actually buy into our program. Like, they really believed in Azure and what Azure had planned for us, and our workout programs, like everything that we did, everybody was 100%, and it showed. I mean, you got a bunch of red shirts that go to tournaments and they're placing top 3 at these opens, and then you got somebody who hasn't wrestled in 6 years come back and qualify for the national tournament. So, like, we're all really tight. Like, the last few days since Hunter and I had gotten back, and we've just been hanging out at home watching wrestling videos. We got people, like all of our teammates, coming over to hang out, just having a good time, and it just shows that we have such a good bond built through this year and all the stuff that we go through, that everybody is 100% committed to our program and ready to lay it all out on the line. And I think that really probably captivates our program the best, and just shows that we're in it for each other, and we're in it for coach. We're in it to compete.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a noticeable difference between last year's team and this year's team for sure. And you summed it up well with like the fact that we have more people bought in. I mean, it's that simple, and that's the whole key of a college athletics program is the more people you have bought in and the more people that trust the coach, the better you're going to be. I mean, it's that simple.
Yeah.
It really is. It's not like brain surgery. It's if you have to find quality dudes, as you know, but you also have to find people that are bought into your program as a coach.
100%.
And it's definitely showing for Azure. And I think the top is like I mean, it's well within range. I really think so.
Yeah, I agree.
What about for you personally on the mat? Like, if you need, say you need 3 points, right? You're down 2 in the third. What move are you going to try to do? What are you doing?
Well, I'm a big high crouch kind of guy, but at the same time, I think if there's short time and I'm down 3 points, I'm not so much of a solid wrestler, like my wrestling style being solid, so to speak. I might just cause a flurry, just do something. Just do something crazy and see what happens.
That seems like more your style.
It's 100% more my style. But if I say, so that would be like in a situation where there's like 10 seconds left. If there's like 30 seconds, I'm probably going to set up, try and hit a high crotch, maybe a sweep single, but probably the high crotch.
You were there watching the semifinals match for Hunter, and on the video you can hear the
no
coach.
Sweep, no sweep.
You can hear it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's clear as day. And what happens? Boom.
Sweep single.
So if you're in that situation, say you hear, your coach yelling, no sweep, no sweep. What are you doing to avoid that?
Okay. So if I'm trying to avoid a sweep single, I'm probably going to stay out of the hand fight. Right? I don't want to have my hands way up here. I'm going to have a hand down towards the mat. But also in that situation, Hunter's so dang good in the hand fight that you kind of have to have your hands up here because he's coming at your head.
Get you, yeah.
So, I mean, there's really no good thing to do there because Hunter's going to score.
Right. I always wonder, like, in that instance, where you're in a match where you're wrestling for like a state championship or a national championship, just the amount of pressure, like your mind probably goes into like overload a little bit, and you almost have to shut it off. I've never wrestled for a state championship or a national championship. I have played in really important games, so I know that feeling. Like, but I don't have that one-on-one sport where it's just me and that person going for
just one other person out there. Right.
Have you wrestled in a state championship?
I wrestled in 3.
Yeah. So in those matches, does your mind just kind of shut off?
Well, I mean, so my first one, I got really lucky with my first one because I wrestled Travis Whitlake. Like, he smoked me, but at the same time, like, it helped me to experience that And I mean, let's be honest, nobody thought I was going to win that match. I was a sophomore.
Yeah,
he was a senior.
Yeah.
Full
ride to Oregon State.
Yeah, just amazing dude, amazing wrestler. And he, like, I obviously didn't think I was going to win that match, but I was going to go out there and give it my all.
Yeah.
And so at that point, like, I didn't have anything to worry about. I was just going to go out and wrestle. So that was really fortunate for me in my development in those big matches. Because in the next year, I'd go into the finals and I'm wrestling a kid that I'd already beat twice that year, and I pinned him in 54 seconds.
Yeah.
So it's like I didn't really have to get over that mental hump, so to speak, just because, I mean, every finals match that I wrestled into that point was like, oh, I know this kid. I'm either going to win or I'm going to lose.
Yeah.
And like my senior year was the first time that I got nervous for a finals match.
Yeah, and where'd your mind go then?
I don't know, because I
Your
remember
body protects itself. I think. I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, I've never been in that position because it's a combat sport. So there's fight or flight coming. There's
Right.
adrenaline involved, and I would think that your body would almost like kind of shut some of your mind off to
Yeah.
protect you, right? You know what I mean? Because you're
Yeah.
trying to use all this energy to fight or flight.
Right.
So your body shuts down naturally things that it doesn't need.
yeah.
So describe that match your senior year.
Well, honestly, I don't remember it.
Wow, that's
So
crazy.
it was because I lost. I lost that match. I think I lost 13-2 to a kid that I had beat a couple weeks prior, 8-3. We were 2-2 on the year. I beat him 5-4. He beat me 3-2. I beat him 8-3. He beat me 13-2. So, I mean, it was kind of like one of those things where I was nervous, but I was like, I can win this. And then we got on the mat. You know, we do the whole walk out of the tunnel and whatnot at the Oregon State tournament. And I do this thing before each match where I just jump right on the edge. I put my ankle band on and I jump, get my legs stretched out a little bit, and I walk to the center and I shake hands, and then black. I don't remember it. Every once in a while I can remember bits and pieces of it, but I don't remember the match, and I have not went back to watch it because I got smoked.
He said, because I got smoked.
So I don't know.
Similar thing happened to my son this year. He went into, he's the second best heavyweight at 5A in my eyes, in most people's eyes. And he goes into the state tournament. He in the quarters, he beats the kid who a lot of people thought would wrestle for the state championship from Eagle Point. And then in the semis, he wrestles the kid that he beat in the semis at district and beat him twice during the year, pinned him twice, and loses and hurts his knee. And then he comes back, wins the consolation semis, and then in the consolation finals, he loses to another kid that he had beat 2 times from. And so he ends up fourth, but it's like wrestling's one of those sports where just because you beat somebody like 2 or 3 times doesn't mean you're going to beat them the 4th time.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It's crazy.
It's honestly, that's probably one of my favorite parts about it. It just depends on who shows up.
Right. Yeah, or what kind of mind state they're in, or
Right.
you know what I mean. It's that's one of my favorite parts about it too. Is like you could put I always wanted to see like if we took like the champion from NCAA D1, D2, NJCAA, NAIA, whatever other divisions there are, and just have a tournament with them.
That would be crazy.
Wouldn't it? Why haven't we done that yet?
I don't know.
Well,
I think it would be cool.
It'd be like the Reesers of college.
Right.
But you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
let's take all the champions or the first top 2.
Yeah.
And let's throw them in a pool and seed them. And let's have another tournament somewhere big. Make it a big deal. Make it a.
Yeah.
I mean, people would watch that.
Well, it'd be like back in the day when they allowed non-Division I wrestlers to compete at nationals.
Yeah, in the national tournament. Yeah. Or I mean, you'd get to see like Hunter Sparks and Ayala.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't we want to see stuff like that?
Right.
I don't understand why that hasn't happened yet. I think it would be, I mean, there's got to be a company that has the money to start that, and they would make money off of that. People would watch that. Speaking of that, NCAAs are coming up. We got conferences this weekend, right?
I think so, yeah.
And then nationals in a couple weeks. Like when you watch NCAAs, like do you feel like you could compete at that level?
Well, I mean, I'm a wrestler, so of course I'm going to have a little bit of an ego and say yes.
Yeah, I do too. I think that wrestling, there's not that much of a separation between levels. It's not like basketball. It's not
Right.
like football. Like you put an NAIA guy in football next to a D1 guy, and I can tell you who the D1 guy
Right.
is without even watching them play.
Right.
But you put two wrestlers next to each other. Say if you put Hunter next to Ayala, perfect example. Right. I couldn't tell you which one was the D1 guy. And if I watched him wrestle, I couldn't tell you either.
Right. I mean, in my experience, I mean, I think I can compete for sure. I mean, I wrestled the #1 guy this year at Grandview Open in Iowa, and he pinned me. But I mean, I was getting to his legs. I was really close to a couple takedowns. So, yeah, I think a little tweak here and there, and I can compete with anybody.
Yeah.
So I enjoy watching those tournaments because it's like, I wrestled him or I wrestled him. And then it's like, wow, these guys are placing here.
Yeah,
I think
on
I
a
can
huge
compete.
stage,
Right.
on a huge level. That's another one of my favorite things about wrestling is there's not, like I said, there's not that much separation between like the NAIA level and D1. And if somebody wants to argue that, I'll argue that all day. I mean, you can the proof's in the pudding. I mean, it shows every day. Right. The tournaments like that that national tournament that you guys go to, that's the best wrestlers in the country in my
100%.
eyes. Just as much as the D1 guys. Like seriously. There's just not enough room. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
You can't have 50 guys on a D1 team, you know, and obviously, you know, like maybe throughout people's careers they've lost to a D1 guy, but there's guys that have beat D1. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's not that big of a difference in my eyes. Let's change it up a little bit. If you had a pet parrot, what would you teach it to say? First thing.
Well,
evil, huh?
No, that'd probably be one of the second things I teach you is something evil. I mean, honestly, I'd probably teach it to say, "Get out."
Get out.
That way, if somebody walks in the door, they just yell out, "Get out!"
Yeah, scare them.
Freak them out a little bit. Yeah, I think that'd be kind of funny.
First time you bring somebody
Little
over,
chuckle.
you just got this parrot like going off on them.
Oh yeah,
that would be fun. I've always wanted a bird that talks. I mean, that would be cool.
I think it would be interesting.
I mean,
for
you
sure.
could teach, and I've seen videos on the internet where they've taught these birds everything you can imagine.
Right.
And I'm not talking about all the inappropriate stuff. I'm
Right.
talking about funny stuff where it just catches people off guard. Like you don't even know the bird's in there. Somebody's sitting in their house, and all of a sudden it's like, I'm God, or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's this bird like sitting up on a perch. Yeah, that would be highly entertaining in my eyes. Next year, so 5th year senior. What's your goal? What are we trying to attain as a one more year of wrestling?
I mean, I want to go out on top. I mean, I just saw my roommate do it. So, I mean...
That was crazy, too, man. Wow. What a
definitely one of the coolest things I think I've seen in a long time. So, I mean, that's my goal. I want to make it to where... so, we lived together last year, so the kind of running joke in our house right now is that our 2009 Walnut Street Apartment 4 is undefeated because we both All-American this year. Even though we don't live there anymore, it's just kind of funny because we both lived together last year, both national qualifiers. He took second, and then this year both All-American. He was national champion. It's just really cool to see that kind of comparison from last year to this year, and just go, wow, like the two of us have done some pretty cool stuff.
I think like like in order to win at that level, you know. A lot of it has to do with the guys in the room.
Right.
You know that. And who you're working out with every day. So that's going to be something key for you is like, you got to find that person. I mean, I know you've worked out with Marco a lot, Keegan. Who'd you work out with mainly this year?
I mixed it up a lot this year just because we had some more guys in the room. Yeah. I wrestled a lot with Wiley, though. Like, he was my warm-up partner at tournaments and stuff just because we were close in weight. I worked out with him quite a few times throughout the year too, but I'd wrestle with one of my other roommates, Stone. I wrestled with Jason, and then sometimes I'd wrestle with Jay or Darian.
Bigger boys, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I mix it up a lot.
I mean, you know as well as I do that it all starts with right there. Like it's what the kind of pressure that your teammates are putting on you in practice is huge when it comes to, because you're only going to wrestle at the most 25, 30 matches, right, throughout the whole year. I mean, that's nothing when you really think about it. Like you probably wrestle 50 times that in the room.
Yeah, I think I was close. I was close to 40 matches.
Okay,
this year.
40. Yeah, and you're top end. You're top end for NAI, right? I mean, like you got guys like Hunter. He wrestled like 16 or something.
Right.
On paper, and so the room is where it all starts. And thankfully, like Azure's gone, to that next level in my eyes when it comes to recruiting and bringing in guys where we're going to build champions. That's what it's about, right? Like you don't just find champions, you build them, and that's a key for EOU wrestling. Congratulations, though. I mean, All-American twice. Not many people in the world can say that.
Yeah, thank you.
It's awesome, man. Eastern Oregon. He's EOU. Men's Wrestling's Kyle Knudtson. I'm Dodzy. Kyle, I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me on.